I just did a couple vocal warm-ups, so I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Today, we're gonna learn how to make some VTubers. Oh my god, SariBot is here. Hello. I was gonna turn off that notification, but I kind of enjoy it when SariBot says they're here. I'm just like, hey, hello. You know, it's like a little tribute. I don't know. I like him. He's cute. So it's like a little companion. You know, I want to add a little graphic on the screen. In fact, I may do that right now. I'm going to add a, I guess it's a text source is really what I'm looking for here. Create new word of the day. I'll need to fix this up somehow. Beatific. I guess I'll put this at the bottom of the screen. There we go. I like that. Word of the day, beatific, and then let's try to find some font that matches my style a bit more. Because I'm doing this in OBS, so I'm not really particularly thinking about really spicing up this graphic with like custom fonts and stuff. I mean, I'd love to do that. What is this? Okay, this does not. Okay, that definitely doesn't fit. Comic Sans almost fits. That's the sad part about that. I'm almost considering using Comic Sans. It's like close, but to me it's a little bit too stylized. I just wish I could, like, the sample is so small. Why is the sample so tiny? You see that? Maybe I'll just make it possibly just smaller and then size it up like that so I can actually see the sample. Is there a way we can sample? Here we go. Sorry, word of the day. Joker Man. I love Joker Man. That's one of my favorite fonts. I love this font. Is it too? It's a little too jokery, but I love this font. It's one of my favorites. Let's try this one. If we could have bolded up, maybe. All right, this one works. Let's try underlining this. Underlining is okay, but I think we can just leave that there. I like that. Beatific. Let's maybe add a text that includes a definition. Define beatific. Let's just like duplicate this, and then this one, call this word of the day definition. Oh, so in this one we'll want to, of course, also, oh, we can outline it. We don't need to do that. We could add a shadow, alignment to the right. And this one we also want to align to the right. Word of the day. Here, let's italicize it. There's no way to italicize it. Are you kidding me? How do I italicize it? What? Will this work? No, that's not gonna work. Oh my goodness. There's no way to italicize the text? Are you chat log mode? What does that mean? Custom text extents. Okay. I guess there's no easy way to italicize something. All right. I guess we'll just leave it at that. Word of the day, beatific, to mean blissfully happy. We can't italicize it for some reason. Oh well. Maybe there's like a better font, maybe Century Gothic. Okay, we can italicize it with that. Yeah. I like that. Just to like sort of improve our vocabulary. This is very. Am I beatific right now? Is that how we're gonna do it? A beatific dog? Okay, let me think about what else I want to try to do today. Before getting started on today's tasks. Oh, I've got a whole bunch of stuff happening here. Oh dear. Let me try to fix some of this. All right, I'm gonna move this. Oh, I moved it to another screen, but in the process of doing so, I seem to have messed up the cropping. That is odd. Well, I think that fixed that. I might just have to move it down. Okay, I like that. Word of the day, beatific. I like this spacing, so then I can sort of use this bottom. We can use the bottom. I can use this bottom as I suppose just information, whatever it is that I need to convey. I like it. I like it. Maybe let's move this a little bit more up, and then let's put this down. Yeah, there we go. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's cute. Okay. I like the little word of the day. I think that's cute. What else do I like? I like dogs. All right, let's just get going. Let's just get started in this. I would like to take some notes while I write. But up until now, I've been sort of like I've been taking handwritten notes, and that's okay. I said while I write. I meant I want to take notes while I watch. Handwritten notes are fine, but I have a better idea. I want to start a wiki. I think that would be fun. I want to have like a wiki of like all my notes. I want to put that out there. Let's do it. Let's just do it. So that people have access to my stuff, because I think that's really important. I guess I can close that. Have this open. Close the rest of these. And I suppose I'll just get started. I mean, what else is there to do? What else is there to do? I kind of wish I was playing video games right now, but sort of, I do have to remind myself that this is fun too, and this is often, I think, more fun. So let's beatifically. Let's beatifically. Right. Start a little page. We're gonna go on Mira Haze. Sign in. Already signed in a serious goob. And here's something that I've got. Request you are following has received a comment. Approved. Okay. All right. I've got a little wiki here. I got a little wiki. It's a serious goob wiki. Let me see if I can find it. How do I find it? seriousgoob.mirahaze. No, it's not that. How do I check out my wiki? We're gonna figure that out. Here we go. Visit wiki. All right. We are going to what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Okay, I gotta figure out how to use this. I guess I should have maybe done this before stream. That probably would have been smart. I want to create a page. That's what I want to do. I want to create a page on this wiki so I can start taking my notes so that I can have my notes publicly open, available for people to look at. Related changes, upload files, printable version, permanent link, page information, get shortened URL, manage wiki's core settings. How do I do this? How do I create a page? Oh, I have to search for it, right? Live 2D. Create the Live 2D page on this wiki. Let's call this like notes Live 2D in a Live 2D avatar. Welcome to Evidence of Serious Goob Study, Practice, and Thought. Start editing. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Here's my little notes. Here's my little notes. I guess I can share this at some point. We're gonna start. I want to try to like put all of my notes in here. In fact, that might be what I do. Oh dear, that might be what I do next writing session. My next writing stream on Monday is to start putting my notes in here so I have a place to really think about this kind of stuff. Externalizing my thoughts is something that I need to get better at. So let's. Oh, that's me. let's open up the video series that I want to watch.
Episode 2 in my 10-part series.
Because this is ultimately what, like, this is the thing that I want to do. As far as this page goes, let's maybe zoom into maybe 125% so we can see more of the page. Also, don't really need to see. We can sort of squash this a little bit. I think we'll be okay. Or maybe not. Do maybe 125%. That should be good.
Series of how to make a full body 2D VTuber model for beginners. Last episode,
Yay.
we went over why learning the basics of Live 2D is so important. We also talked about how much you should charge for a Live 2D model if you do decide to do commissions and sell your work. Everything that we'll be learning in this tutorial is going to help you with learning how to animate a tier 1 VTuber character. And we also discussed additional tips that I wish I knew before starting Live 2D Cubism. If you missed the last episode, I highly recommend going back to check out some of the content before moving on to this episode.
I am terrified. I'm terrified of this. And I don't know why. I shouldn't be. I guess I'm terrified because this is like the beginning of a change for me.
In this episode,
if I do make a decent live VTuber model, like, what am I gonna do with this? Do I keep this? Do I throw this out? I don't know.
To prepare your PSD file, or in other words, prepare your character for Live 2D Cubism. First, we'll learn how to set up our canvas as well as the best canvas settings, and then we'll talk about additional important information that you should keep in mind when making a character for Live 2D Cubism, as well as what to keep an eye out for if you are only the rigger and rigging another artist's work. Also, I did want to mention, if you've not seen it, I do have a discount code for Live 2D Cubism in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment, so make sure you use that once you decide to download Live 2D, which we will be downloading together in the next episode. Alright, let's hop into it. Now let's start off with talking about our canvas size. What canvas size should you use before you decide to start drawing your character? If we take a look at my canvas size, mine is 6,164 pixels by 10,000.
Okay, that's crazy. How do you, like, my brushes get so slow, and I have a really strong computer, and my brushes get so slow when I'm working that
pixels
much
now,
height.
If we switch this,
so I think in terms of notes, let's maybe start with this as on June 8th, 2026. It's June 8th. Serious Goob began creation. Okay, we're gonna read it. We're gonna leave us there for now. So he's gonna begin his live 2D creation journey. Following are his notes. The notes. Okay. Following constitute his notes. Okay. That works. So I suppose we have different ways of organizing this for now. For now, we're just going to ooh, there's different subheadings. Ooh. Ooh. Sci-Fire Live 2D Cubism series. Okay. That's going to be, I suppose this is going to be how we're going to note this down. Like how we're going to keep track of all of this is to separate it by content. For now, we can always change this later. We do subheading 1. Video 2. Okay. This is because this is video 2. Then we're gonna do, okay.
This to inches, that's going to be 20 by
All right.
35. I like to compare this to thinking about a printer size piece of paper, which is 8.5 inches by 11.5. We want to make 20 by 95.
So a drawing document of size of 6164 by 10.7 pixels.
Pixels. Now, if we switch this to inches, that's going to be 20 by 35. I like to compare this to thinking about a printer size piece of paper, which is 8.5 inches by 11.5. We want to make our canvas and our work much bigger because you might be zooming into your VTuber while streaming or zooming close up to your character while talking to your community. And we don't want it to look super pixelated, which this is what it would look like if it were on a smaller sized canvas. So try to get a pretty big piece of paper. Think about it as like you want a massive piece of paper so that any type of zooming in is going to continue to make it look crystal clear. Now, the other thing to look at is the resolution. What is our resolution? Now, typically 300 resolution, or another word
Because of how Photoshop layers work,
for it is
we don't have to really worry about the difference here.
DPI. 70 done digital. You want to set to make sure it's at 300 DPI or 300 resolution. There's even printing places who actually print far beyond this quality, so if you decide to make merch or anything like that in the future, make sure you check into those printing specs for that company. Now, I do 300 even though I'm not necessarily going to be printing this just to be safe. There's no reason really why you don't need to use 300 unless you're trying to save space on your computer. But I think best practice is just continuing to use 300 DPI as a minimum. Next, let's talk about the complexity of your character. How complex should you draw your character? You'll see models that from simple anime models to something that's a lot more complex. Now, I want to talk about 3 different levels of complexity that it can kind of be broken down into with modeling. Let's take a look at an example like Rize from Tokyo Ghoul. Rize is a fairly simple design, and for most anime, you'll come across pretty simple designs because depending on how that anime was made, they may be doing hand-drawn animation or something that's going to be drawn frame by frame. Now, the advantage of Live 2D Cubism is since you're going to be rigging your model, you don't have to draw everything frame by frame, which means there's actually a lot of time saved with something like Live 2D Cubism. However, the more complex you make your model, the more complex the drawing process will be and the layer separation will be, which we will dive into shortly. So Rize, as you can see, has very simple shading. It's very clear where the shading is, it's very clear where the highlights are, and it's very clear where her base is. And she
Okay, what are the things that she notes here? She
and it's
notes,
very clear where her shading. It's very clear where the shading is. It's very, as you can see, has very simple shading. It's very clear where the shading.
I'm gonna quote this, very simple shading, very clear where
Shading is. It's very clear where the highlights are.
the shading is, where the highlights are.
And it's very clear where her base is. And
Very clear where the base is. This is at 402. I suppose that I will also,
definitely going to want to make this who actually print far beyond this quality is the smaller size close-up 8.5 inches by a print.
so I'm gonna also note when the drawing starts, like when sorry, not what am I trying to say? I'm also going to know when just like the timing, like the timestamps of the video when certain information is produced or told. Let's write this down. 134.
700 And for most anime, you'll come across pretty simple designs because depending on how that anime was made, they may be doing hand-drawn animation. You don't have to draw to shortly. So Rize, as you can
I think I'm also going to speed this up by 2. I don't think we need to watch this whole thing.
see, has very simple shading. It's very clear where the shading is. It's very clear where the highlights are. And it's very clear where her base is. And she doesn't really have a lot of complex nose shading or anything like that. If you look at a model like mine is a little bit more painterly. There's a few more strokes in the hair. There's just a little bit more of a painterly look on things like the bow right there. And
She keeps saying this thing called painterly. I don't really know what she means by this. Like, what does it mean for something to be more painterly? I mean, I know what she means by that. I just don't have a good distinction for that. So let me try to come up with my own distinction. Here she says,
even the nose, the bridge of the nose is a little bit more complex. And I even have cheeks that are shaded a little bit. This is going to make it out to be a more complex model depending on how I want it to be animated.
a painterly look makes for a more complex model. And here we can say painterly meaning painterly. Oh, painterly meaning what? What does painterly mean? Like less more let's say like more like softer separation of values. Is that what we're kind of meaning here?
Now let's look at something that's even more complex. For example, here is a piece of artwork that is anime-like, but very, very painterly. It's kind of a mix of realism and anime. What we're going to be doing is prepping our file so that it can be used for live 2D cubism. What that means is every single piece is going to be separated into its own bit. This can get really complicated, as you can see, with something like a complex piece of work because there's a lot of overlap. We want it to be very clear what is each
More rendered. She keeps suggesting this idea of painterly, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what she's trying to say here.
And when you pull apart the hair, I have the hair broken into sections like this, and you can get even more advanced by separating things bottom with the teeth. And when you piece, so if we pull apart the lips for overlap, we want it to be very clear what is each piece. So if we pull apart the lips, for example,
here's something that's interesting here. Can you? There we go. Okay, thank you. How do I? What? I want to unindent. How do I do that? More. How do I unindent? Will you let me do that? Decrease indentation. There we go. What is this? Shift tab. Interesting. At 455, 457, we're saying
well, we have the line art at the top of the bottom with the teeth. And when you pull apart that, for example, we have the line art at the top of the bottom.
Or just something I'm noticing. Oh, that teeth looks weird. Okay, I'm noticing here. Lips, top lip. Here, the top lip, bottom lip, mouth line, and the
bottom with the teeth. And when you pull apart the lips, for example, we have the line art at the top of the bottom with the teeth. And when you
teeth and whatever the mouth hole are all separated.
When you pull apart the hair, I have the hair broken into sections like this, and you can get even more advanced by separating things like the line art and the highlights so that this piece of hair would actually be separated into something like 3 different chunks. If you were to do a piece like this, it could get pretty insane pretty quickly because you're going to want to be separating all these different layers. It's not impossible, but it's definitely going to take you a lot more time, and I don't recommend it if you are a beginner to live 2D cubism. The best place to start would be doing something very simple like this Rize model, or if you are pretty comfortable with painting and drawing and you know a little bit already about animation, you might be okay to start somewhere in between.
But like, what if I don't know? I It's so many questions I have, like
in of themselves. So every layer really should be separated. When you're going to draw your character, you can draw it all as one painting or one illustration or with a few layers, but eventually you're going to want to separate it.
Like a big prerequisite to this is really like you have to know how to draw. And I'm still learning that, I think.
Layers I have here, it gets quite insane because you'll be separating every single piece, right? I'm not going to go through every single piece in this video, but I do have a playlist of all the breakdowns I did for this specific model, and if you're wanting to dive more into that and understand that more deeply, I'll leave a link to that playlist below and what that looks like. So there are 2 different ways you could essentially approach the way you're drawing your character. The first way that you could approach drawing your character is starting off with, okay, I understand that this is all going to be separated, so I'm going to draw the line art, that's going to be one layer, then I'm going to draw the base hair, that's going to be another layer, then the shadows, then the highlights, and all those will be I understand that this is all
Okay. Here she outlines 2 different approaches. Oh, god damn it. God damn it. Okay. Say 622. Approach number 1. basic drawing and separating them to begin with is what she says. And separate them to begin with. Okay, what does she mean by that? We're gonna figure it out.
That this is all gonna be separated. So I'm gonna draw the line art. That's gonna be one layer. Then I'm gonna draw the base hair. That's gonna be another layer. Then the shadows and the highlights. All those will be on separate layers. Now that's one way you can do it. For me, I like to get really painterly and lost in my paintings. So I actually draw my whole character without worrying too much about the layer separation.
Okay. Here, 640. Approach number 2. Draw your whole character, then separate layers. So like splitting the character posthumously. Let's actually write that. Separating posthumously.
I actually do that literally at the end. So I'll spend like hours at the end.
How I said the word beatific. How is that not how I write posthumous? Okay. All right. Have I said the word beatific recently? I haven't. We're gonna say it. All right. This is She looks very beatific. Very beatific. We got lozenge yesterday. We got beatific today.
Cleaning up layers and separating everything with something called the lasso tool in Photoshop, where I'll lasso it and then I'll take it and I'll put it onto its own layer. That's what I like to do. Now that could be a lot more time consuming. Some people argue that's not a good way to do it. Some people love that way of doing it. You gotta find truly what works best for you. There is no right or wrong answer. It's truly what's gonna be the best for you depending on the situation you're in. Now for naming your layers, something that's super important to keep in mind is we want to name things according to the characters left and right. So for me, if I'm looking at my computer screen, this is the right eyebrow. I would see this as being the right eyebrow and I would see this as being the left eyebrow. However, when you're preparing a model for live 2D cubism, you actually want to go according to the character's perspective. So if Sapphire was turned around, this would be her right and this would be her left. So when you're naming your layers, you want them to be named on the character's perspective. So this is her right eyebrow, this is her left eyebrow. If you
Okay, I suppose that's a pretty good tip, or something interesting to note down. Name your layers and separate by R and L depending from the character's perspective, not camera.
If you struggle to understand that concept, you could think of something like Minecraft. If we were to draw a little box right here and you know how you have your little block hands while you're playing Minecraft, we're from the perspective of the character. So the rest of the character's body would be here, your head would be here, kind of like how you're playing on your computer or playing on your PC. So the right is going to be, it's whatever direction the character is facing. Hopefully that can help make you understand a little bit better which side would be which. So for example, this is actually going to be the right gem, even though it's technically my left when I look at the screen. Next, let's talk about when you actually are separating your layers. We want to separate things into parts. So you'll want to have a front, a middle, and a back, because we are trying to sell the fact that this is 3D work even though it's a 2D illustration. So if we take a look at another model that I worked on, here's an
At 8:30 or 8:20. Separate by front, middle, and back layers. Foreground, middle ground, background.
example of front, back, middle. So here's the front sleeve. This would kind of be a number 1. Here
Suppose I can do this. Oh, there you go. Replace these parentheses with brackets because that'll, I think, make it less confusing for me.
Here is the middle, which would be the number 2, and then here is the back, which is 3. And you can see how it stays behind the hand. We have 1, and then we have 2, and then we have 3. You want to separate everything to kind of have a front layer, middle layer, and a back layer. So that's a really good basic understanding to have. Something else to look at is you can get really complex with it, where this lace could either exist all together, like the shading, the main, and the line art could just be one layer, or you can actually separate it. I have the base and the shading on one layer, and I have the line art on another layer for more control. The more you separate your layers, the more control you'll have. So of course, I could have all this merged and just have this whole bottom skirt, and then I would be bending this whole piece together. But what would happen is these frills might start looking a little weird as they bend. So the more that you can separate everything, the better it will be. So do you separate line art? You know, that's a common question. How much control do you want to have? You can, but you also don't have to. Here's another good example of kind of a front, behind, and middle. This back of the wing is super far behind. This is a middle piece because this wing is bending over, and then the wing is the front. But this is also separated into several sections because this wing is a little bit more complicated where the joints are going to be bending as it flaps. So that one gets a little bit complicated. And of course, if you have questions referring to your specific character, feel free to drop by our Discord and ask questions in the question section. Everyone's really helpful there. I know that this is not going to be a one-size-fits-all tutorial because we all have different characters. We have like orcs, we have wolf girls, we have ghouls, we all have crazy stuff that's going to be different. Now, this brings me to my next point.
And we have dogs. And we got dog characters. That's lots. That's
it's
gonna be
neat. Going to be what can you usually not see if you're drawing a straight illustration. I like to use the rotate tool in Photoshop to see what would the action of that thing be in order to help me understand how much of it I should be drawing. So, for example, this bow, if you're drawing traditional illustration, you would only draw the edges of it because you don't need to draw anything behind.
Here at 10:30. I'm gonna write, draw the unseen. Draw through pieces so that when the character moves, you get different angles.
But if you're preparing it for animation in Live 2D Cubism, you may want to draw the whole bow. You wouldn't have known that that whole thing is back there. You even want to draw the pieces that are going to be dangling, for example. So it still doesn't stop here. I still have this full piece of bow because the bow might be dangling this way or that way as it moves in the wind. So again, I like to use the rotate tool to kind of see and predict like what is the movement of this item. So really try to think practically of how would this thing move in the real world and how can I apply that to my character. I'll do that with hair too. So if I know the hair is going to be swinging back and forth, let's see what we're going to need to draw and how much of it we're going to need to draw, right? So that's really helpful there. Here's another example. If we pull away the gem, you can see, oh, that piece of the necklace is still there. If you're wanting to do something like toggleable items, you want to separate that as well. So this shirt is separated into several pieces, but also I can take the sweater off so that she only has this little tank top, which can be easily done in Live 2D Cubism with something called a toggle, where it's kind of like flipping a light switch on and off. The sweater's on or the sweater's off. Very simple to do. So that's something if you're interested in doing more clothes for your character. Here's another example where we wouldn't think the whole gem would be there, but it is because as her bangs start to rotate, we might see more of that gem being revealed. So very important to draw the unseen and draw as much as you can. Now again, for any additional layer separation, understanding things like the eyelids and stuff like that, that playlist will be below for you to check out and do an even deeper dive of how I broke down this whole model. Now let's take a look at a few more examples. Here's the whole hair, where I'm drawing more of the unseen once more. Here's a bow, and we still have the other pieces of the dress under there. These are all separate pieces. So hopefully this is starting to make sense as I pull stuff apart for you to really start understanding how it all works. If you're planning to do anything like emotes, it's going to work very similarly to clothes, where it's going to be like a light switch toggling on and off. So if you have something like blush that you want to toggle on and off, just make sure it's on its own layer so we can turn it on and off with the light switch mechanic. Now let's talk about dirty pixels. I'm somebody who really enjoys getting in there and really doing a nice painterly look to a character. The problem with this is sometimes I'll have my artwork kind of be all over the place, where there might be some stray pixels that are over here on the side of the canvas because maybe I just didn't clean up that paint, whatever the case may be. That will be an issue for us later when we're mapping textures. I know that term might be confusing right now, but we'll talk about it in the next episode. Just make sure that everything is cleaned up and very specific to its own zone. I like to click Control T on my keyboard to see where the bounds are on my work if I decide to take the route of separating my artwork later and not at the very beginning. Now, if you have other pieces around here, when I click Control T, you can see how my bounding box is a little further out. You want to make sure everything's cleaned up and ready to go for Live 2D Cubism. And as another important note, let's talk about different layer effects. There are 3 layer effects that is acceptable for Live 2D Cubism, but it still sometimes has a hard time understanding that. So we're going to take this piece of hair, for example, so I can show you the 3. There is the normal layer mode, which is just the default layer mode that we draw on right here. Next, there is going to be the additive, which is usually something that you might use if you want to add highlights to your work. You can see how bright that is. If I was using it in a more practical way, I'd probably turn down the opacity and be painting it over like painting the highlights. And that's going to be our linear dodge additive. And then lastly is going to be our multiply layer mode, which is usually used for shading. You might just end up doing your own shading, but that's the other layer mode that is acceptable. So usually a way that you can think about it is normal, light, dark. So kind of like normal color, highlights, shading. So if I were to go in here with my multiply layer and start laying this on top, you can see how it's painting it to be kind of darker. These are the only layers that are acceptable for Live 2D Cubism, which I'd still recommend merging the layers if you can. So what merging is if I had this as a highlight with the linear dodge on top of
What's she saying here?
highlights, shading, very specific to its own zone. I like to click
Dirty pixels rule.
keyboard to see where the bounds are on my work. If
I know what she's talking about.
A nice painterly look to a character. The problem with this is sometimes I'll have my artwork kind of be all over the place, where there might be some stray pixels that are over here on the side of the canvas because maybe I just didn't clean up that paint, whatever the case may be. That will be an issue for us later when we're mapping textures. I know that term might be confusing right now, but we'll talk about it in the next episode. Just make sure that everything is cleaned up and very specific to its own zone. I like to click Control T on my keyboard to see where the bounds are on my work if I decide to take the route of separating my artwork later and not at the very beginning. Now, if you have other pieces around here, when I click Control T, you can see how my bounding box is a little further out. You want to make sure everything's cleaned up and ready to go for Live 2D Cubism. And as another important note, let's talk about different layer effects. There are 3 layer effects that is acceptable for Live 2D Cubism, but it still sometimes has a hard time understanding that. So we're going to take this piece of hair, for example, so I can show you the 3. There is the normal layer mode, which is just the default layer mode that we draw on right here. Next, there is going to be the additive, which is usually something that you might use if you want to add highlights to your work. You can see how bright that is. If I was using it in a more practical way, I'd probably turn down the opacity and be painting it over like painting the highlights. And that's going to be our linear dodge additive. And then lastly is going to be our multiply layer mode, which is usually used for shading. You might just end up doing your own shading, but that's the other layer mode that is acceptable. So usually a way that you can think about it is normal, light, dark. So kind of like normal color, highlights, shading. So if I were to go in here with my multiply layer and start laying this on top, you can see how it's painting it to be kind of darker. These are the only layers that are acceptable for Live 2D Cubism, which I'd still recommend merging the layers if you can. So what merging is if I had this as a highlight with the linear dodge on top of my hair, I would want.
Okay. That's, I guess, important to know. At 10, here we're saying this at 14:35, we're saying that the Live 2D accepts normal, add, and multiply layer blending modes.
You want to right click the layer and click merge down. You might lose some of your effects, so that can be dangerous sometimes as well. But there are layers in Live 2D Cubism as well that lets you kind of turn those modes on, which we'll talk about again later. And you can go back into your Photoshop file and adjust stuff later. So don't worry about like it has to be perfect in Photoshop on the first go, because we'll be able to re-import easily into Live 2D Cubism if you're adding anything new, like clothing items or necklace or something like that. So the best tip that I could really give you is really try to understand mechanically how something would be moving in space as if it were 3D. That would be the best logic I could give you to follow when drawing anything and preparing your model for Live 2D Cubism.
But that's hard. That's like a hard thing to do. That's not
For
easy.
the preparation of a 2D character and model, I didn't go super into the drawing end of things because again, this is sort of a build up to what we'll truly be learning step by step, which is Live 2D Cubism. Hopefully those tips were super duper helpful for you. In the next episode, we'll be going over how to set your character up in Live 2D Cubism, arranging the layers, learning about drawing orders as well as texture atlasing. And if all these terms are super confusing right now, don't worry, because I will guide you through and teach you. We are on episode 3 of 10.
Okay, this next episode seems to be specifically about
What Live 2D Cubism will look like. Pockies. Oh man.
working in Live 2D itself. So this actually seems more of like a next time or like a next week kind of thing. So The question is, like, what do I do until then? And I'll tell you what it is we're gonna do until then. We are going to draw. we're just gonna start drawing our model. Is really what we're gonna do. I'm a little scared of doing it, but that's what we gotta do. Another thing that I really... Oh no. Let's just save this. Let's save this somewhere. Call this, I should maybe have like a dogs folder. All right. Let's get rid of that. This I might want to save. We'll save this under Twitch. Yeah. I guess today's gonna be a little bit more of a calmer stream. I'm still really trying to figure out, you know, exactly what it is that I'm trying to get from this, from even from like being a creative. Although I have, I think, a lot of ideas of what I want to dive in that. Okay, I want to switch this pen because it's being annoying. Oh God, my traps are in pain. Okay. All right. Here we go. How do I do this? The new Wacom. The new like Wacom stylus thing. It's like so useless compared to the original. I don't know where my stylus is, so we're gonna, or my stylus remover. We're just gonna use this. Okay, it's not working. Oops. Okay, I found it. Ooh. There we go. Okay. It always feels like I'm performing surgery on this. It's always, oh, I don't like how it feels. Wait, where did I put the, oh no, where did I put where did I put the other part? Oh dear. Oh no. Okay. Let's put this away. Whoa. Okay. It's gonna be one of these. And I also just kind of realized because I got the Wacom art pen and I don't know where the tips of those are. So I know they use like different tips. And I also know that the art pen isn't compatible with the software that I use. So, okay. All right. All right. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? I think we're good. Put this back here. Close this up. And spray my throat with some yummy coating. Okay. All right. Okay, we're ready. I think we're ready. I think. No, we're not. Okay. All right. I think we're ready. Let's grab a... Well, first of all, we're going to have to close this and close this. Because I messed up when I opened Photoshop and there's like an autosave. Oh, that's not the app I wanted to open. When I open Photoshop and there's like some kind of like autosave thing, my brush box tool, like the tool that I use to select different brushes, stops working, so I need to restart it. I don't need... Go away, go away, go away. Go away. Just go away. Go away. I don't need you. Get out of here. There you go. Okay. I forget why I was using... Why am I using these drivers instead of the Wacom ones? Let me think about that. I had a reason for that. Hello, hi Mariners. Hello, how's it going? How's it going? Why are you screaming? Are you dying? Why would you scream? You just gave me a jump scare. I just went, oh! Do you see me jump because of how loud you were being right now? I just went, oh! I just got so scared. I thought something was happening to you. Oh dear, I gotta close it and open it once again. Okay. Word of the day, yeah. I've got a little I'm trying to figure out how to improve my vocabulary. So I'm having a little game with myself where I got a little word of the day. That's just what I think about, and so I'm trying to like use that word when I can and try to ingrain that into memory. So yesterday was a lozenge. Today is beatific. Beatific meaning blissfully happy. So my question to you, Mariners, is: are you being beatific right now? Was that a scream of beatificity? Beatificity? Or was that a scream of horror? From remembering that I have a human face. I'm sorry. Sometimes I scream when I see my face. So like I get it. I totally get it. I'm content. That's good. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm content too. I'm having like a... Okay. All right. There's a couple things that I'm thinking about, because I'm usually thinking about a couple things. So I'll tell you the things I'm thinking about right now, which is that I do want viewers. I want viewers. Okay? So I am going to take actions to get those viewers. I am not going to take them today, and I'm not going to take them this week. I want to plan. I really do want to try to like stick to my schedule. So that's what I'm doing, so that I can really train myself to do that. But I do want more viewers. That is a thing that I'm thinking about. So how am I going to get that? I have to play the game. Play the game that other streamers are playing, which is like, you know, whatever it is that they're doing to get more viewers. Do I want to play that game? Not really. But that's okay. I don't have to necessarily do things that I don't like. It doesn't feel, you know, true to my heart. But what does feel true to my heart is being able to either inspire people or help people, etc. And so there's a sort of like hypothesis that I have that sometimes too, like the things that we want to do, like the honest things that we want to do, needs to be supported by some kind of dishonesty. Like our dishonesty is actually what empowers us to be honest. Our dishonesty sits at the bottom, our honesty sits at the top, and dishonesty is a fuel for that. So I want to have all these fun experiences and with like viewers and be a beatific personality, and I want to spread the love of art. If I want to do that, I need to work to get viewership. I can't just kind of like sit back here, because if I just sit back here and I'm very passive about it, then I think that changes. Like I can't honestly want to help as many people as possible and to be like to inspire as many people as possible. I can't do that if I don't work towards reaching out to as many people as possible. Okay? Like how else do I put this? Like if I were to like sit back and just sort of like be very passive about it, then why do I desire to inspire more people? Why do I desire to build a like, let's say like build this like the blueprints of the Serious Goob media empire? I can't honestly sit back here and just like wait for viewers to happen. I think it is infinitely more interesting. It's more interesting and more fun to watch me grab people's attention. But of course, doing that, there are different ways of doing that. I can do, you know, I can still like split that like need, the thought, that like desire of action, that like goal. I can still think about that in terms of, okay, like I can do this very dishonestly. Like I can just do what everyone else is doing, really like farm a algorithm bait. So I can still do that. And I might need to do that. But I do want to try alternatives. But they just have to be alternatives that like actually still can be believably sourced as a vehicle of grabbing people's attention. I don't know if I just said words that make any sense. The point is that I'm thinking about this a lot. Like I'm thinking a lot about like, okay, how do I want to demand that people watch me. I want to demand that. And I don't want to demand it like I don't want to tell people to watch me. Okay? I don't want to do that. I believe that I am interesting and I am sort of observant enough about the world and have enough interesting things to say about the world that that is what will demand people's attention. So, to get there, okay, I think I have to do the thing that I don't really feel like doing, which is that I need to start making clips and putting them on TikTok and advertising them. What those clips will look like, what will they be, what I don't know what they will look like. Probably they will look, you know, to start things off, they might look how other people's clips look like. But I suppose that I want to do that um in like I want to recognize that that is still egregious. That's still, like, I think, an egregious form of dishonesty. And I want to apologize. So I'm going to apologize to you, Mariners. Not like, not because I believe I've wronged you. I am apologizing to you because I am apologizing to the, like, this, like the general audience, which right now is you. I apologize because I am, I am playing this game. I am playing the game that a bunch of people are playing, of like becoming like a successful popular person online, which means that I am going to try to find ways to captivate people's attention. I'm going to try to find ways to captivate people's desire to watch me, to learn about what I have to say. And I'll be using methods that exist in the world. And even though I think that, I believe that this must be done, it hurts. It hurts me. Because I don't really believe in myself yet. Hanging around chats is also a good way. Yeah. I want to start, or I've already started, but I'm going to do this even more. Is to like be in, like, with, like, in other communities. But like, this is like a thing that like like advertising on TikTok, being in around other chats, joining other communities, doing all of these typical things, like literally like following what people are saying of like how to get more viewership, following that. I will do that, and I have to apologize, and I must apologize for doing it too. So I hope, and I'm sort of speaking rhetorically to you, Mariners. I'm really speaking, again, this is more to like the audience at large. Is that like, I hope people can forgive me for that. They can forgive me for essentially what feels like an act of manipulation. The path that I see in front of me is so large, so mountainous, so full of joy in life. I do believe that I can make a big difference in people's lives. But the thing that is really motivating me is that this is fun. It's fun to play games. I enjoy playing games. I enjoy figuring things out. I've still yet to discover how to properly acknowledge how much to ask of others. Like, I want to ask, again, I'm really speaking rhetorically. I'm not speaking to you specifically, but I am also speaking to you specifically. If that makes sense. Like I have to ask for your support. And that's hard. Probably because I don't believe in myself enough to be able to do that. And I also don't believe that is right for me to ask of that. I should, and I implore people to do what they want to do, to support who they want, and to, in an ideal world, I would want people to graduate from me. Okay, like I sort of serve as a stepping stone where people watch me, people are inspired by me, and then people sort of like graduate from me, and they fly, they fly like little birds. They go flap 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 flap, and they reach their own stars, reach their own skies. That is my Like that is the path that I want to pave for people. But I can't do that without asking for some support in the meantime. And my support, I don't even mean financial. I don't even mean like watching my streams. I mean having continued faith in me is really what that boils down to. But of course, because we live in this world, it does also like the most I can utilize somebody's support is through like monetary support, is through engagement, is through like watching my streams or whatever. So this is why it feels so dirty, right? This is why it feels cruel and sinful for me to even like suggest that I do even like thank people for their support. It's like I'm thanking people for believing in a lie. It's how it feels. Like that imposter syndrome is very real. So, without further ado, what a great intro. What a great opener. I really appreciate you coming to stream. It means a lot, and it motivates me right now. And I'm sorry for saying that. Like I have to say I'm sorry for saying that. It doesn't feel honest to say that, but it is true. And as my journey continues, as I continue to grow and understand who I'm really meant to be, I think it'll pay off. I think that I will end up doing something remarkable and great. I think that I will give back. I promise that I will give back. And yeah, I have to play it. And there's no choice. There's no choice. Ooh. Sometimes I get into these modes where I get really... I call it like tapping into my honesty, but it's like it really it feels just I feel very vulnerable and naked. Right now I'm feeling pretty vulnerable and naked. But this is what's important to me. Like this life, this mission, this path. Seribot just banned the botter. Let's go, Seribot. Let's go. Seribot is working for us. Seribot is they're a good little bot. Good little bot. They just got rid of a spammer. That's great. So without further ado, let's draw some dogs. We're gonna draw a specific dog, actually. We're gonna be drawing myself, because I want to make a VTuber model. And we're gonna be drawing myself as I found this art of Scooby-Doo. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I really like the line art quality of it, and I want to try to replicate that. It might be this one. Yeah, look at him. He's so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute. Look at him. Look at him. I don't know if it was exactly this one, but it was someone like it. It might also have been this one. So there's some really interesting things happening with this art. First of all, he's got a big old chest. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those pecs. Look at those pecs. But there's something else going on here. Look at this. We got line weight. We got this line. It's pretty thick. Okay, then we've got these lines that are a little bit thinner, and then we've got these lines that are thicker here. Why is there line weight? Why are these lines changing so much in weight? It has to do with detail. It's a detail hierarchy prioritization. There's different ways of using line weight. This is one of the ways of using line weight, which is like the thickest part is the silhouette. It's like the big shapes, and then we use smaller lines to define the shapes inside of it. So like the lines here are thinner, like where the eyes are, they're much thinner than the outer edge. Look at him, he's so cute. He's so dreamy. Look at him. He's just looking at me. He's up to something. Do I have any friends who stream? I don't. I'm the only one I'm the only one I know amongst my friends who stream. That's one of the things that I actually I want to be friends with more streamers. Just want me to shut them out when they're in chat. Yeah, no, I'll let you know if I make more streamer friends, but right now I actually don't. Which is like it's a little lonely, I will say. It's lonely to be. I mean, I'm the only one amongst my friends who doesn't have, like, you know, for example, a quote unquote real job. I'm the only one amongst my friends who doesn't have a I think like you know, like really making like a good use of my degree. Although of course Twitch, yeah, like what was the command? What was the command you're trying to do there? No, but what I was saying was like I'm really like diving into this like world of streaming kind of on my own. Now, like my friends also, they don't watch streamers either, and so sometimes they've tuned in for you know, a couple minutes, but like, you know, they're not really people who watch streams. So it is I try to shout, yo. Oh, thank you for trying. Thank you for trying. Yeah, she's like she's a good friend. She's a great friend. She just doesn't, streaming is not her thing. Like she's joined, I think, one stream at one point, but I don't expect that from her as a thing. Like I do not expect my friends to just start entering my streams and stuff, because that is a like I just couldn't ask people to do that. That sounds horrific. That sounds sinful, because they would, right? Because if I asked my friends to support me, they would. That's why I don't want to ask them. It's because they would, and I would feel a lot of sorry for that. Maybe I don't know what that says about me. I think that's part of the reason why I'm so reluctant to start advertising as well. It's because I have a lot of friends who follow me, like for example on TikTok or on Instagram. And so if I were to start promoting, I would start to, like, in a way, it's like asking my friends to start supporting me. And I don't know why I'm so reluctant to do that. So right now I don't even know what I'm gonna like what it is that I'm doing with this. I'm just sort of like, I don't know, maybe like borrowing some cues from this drawing and just try to like try to see like what really defines the my doggy shape here. Although his eyes are like pretty big, bit bigger here than I normally draw them. Look at him. Is that what he's gonna look like? I don't think so. Just sort of like having fun. I do want to like copy his pose though. Maybe make a content account. What's a content? Oh, a content account. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I have started to make like an archive account on YouTube, like a stream archive, where I basically just post all of my like with like unedited streams on it. Although I don't really want that to be like super easily public, not because I don't want people to watch that, but just because that's just kind of like trash, right? That's like this is like getting rid of the trash. Yeah, like I have a like a VOD, basically a VOD YouTube channel right now. It's like separate from my main channel, and I just started it like the other day. And this VOD, first of all, what is this guy doing? I'm still debating if I want those videos to be like public or just unlisted. Like I want people to be able to watch them, but I don't know if I want to promote them because it feels like it's just kind of like promoting trash. Is really what it feels like. And it's not because I think my streams are trash. It's because you do have to sort of like filter through a lot to get to the juicy parts. And people don't really have time for that. People don't really want to consume that. I wouldn't want to consume that. Yeah, no, that's why. That's why it's in a totally separate account. Like it's just like in it's called like the Serious Scoop Twitch archive is what it's called. So it's like very specifically just for VODs. Because again, I do want to have them be available. Like I want an archive of them. I just don't know. I just don't want it promoted. Yeah, they do. It sucks. It sucks. It's also, you know, you don't really want people's first impression of you to be from like a vlog either. What is happening in this shape? Okay. So this doesn't really look like me, but that's fine. Looks like a lot of a horror show, but that's okay. I need to kind of remember what I look like. He's a little bit thinner than me. All right, let's see if I can maybe copy a little bit more of his angle. So I do kind of have a big chin, but then really not quite. I think my big issue is that I sort of have difficulty understanding exactly what my head shape looks like three-dimensionally. And so there are certain angles where I tend to draw myself pretty consistently well. And then there's certain angles where I just tend to look pretty different. So I think for now, what I'm going to do, after taking some more cues from this drawing on the left, looks a little bit more like a cat than anything. Oh my god, hello, naughty dog. Hello, hello, hello. Naughty dog, can you give me a rough? Can you give me a rough? Can you do that for me? I need one. From one dog to another, you know? Can you just give me a little, just a little one, just a little one. Pictures. Okay, let's look at this drawing here. And then let's try to figure out what's working here. How do I fix this to fit more of that? That's the name of today's game. Yeah, I'm ready. Woof. There we go. It's pretty good. I like it. I guess you gotta pause up for that one. I like it. Okay, how do I get this guy on the right looking more like the guy on the left? We had to perform a little bit of black magic. Meaning... Wait, where's my brush box? What? Extensions. Where's my brush box? Come on. Open. There we go. Hey. Okay, we're gonna do some surgery on this guy. This guy's gonna totally transform and completely blow your balls off. Are you guys ready? So we know we're gonna need some kind of separation here. I know we're gonna need the jaw to sort of like probably line up like this. As far as the nose goes, we'll definitely want to continue this curve. And then here's the fun part. There's like a little peach shape, like a little... I call it like a teardrop shape, but it's really, it feels more like a, like, I don't know, it's like a very bubbly shape here. And then, yeah, we're getting there. We can perform character consistency. We got this. We so got this. Look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah. He is looking up. He's doing something. He's having some thoughts. Maybe some opinions. I've never really had a good understanding of what my ears look like. So just gonna like do that. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't he so cute? Isn't he so cute? He's the cutest little doggo. He's curious about the world. You know, he has lots of thoughts, and he has a lot of things he wants to say. So like that's kind of like the thing I really want to like this is the kind of character he is to me, which by the way, again, he is like me. Like he is me. So let's not get that wrong. But like what he represents to me, like he really is like he's like, you know, imagine like a Disney character. Imagine a Disney character who so he's like a talking dog Disney character. Imagine that. But he's placed in like is basically like the real world or something very close to it, where he experiences a lot of the weird, wonderful things about living in this world, like being gay. So he's gay, for example. He likes having sex. He often feels very lonely. He has a desire to you know, help people, but there are sort of lots of things that get in the way of that, and sometimes the types of help that he wants to provide are like impossible tasks. Like for example, like how do you prevent someone from committing suicide? How do you prevent someone from, or how do you help someone completely change who they are so that they start to live a better path? Came zone down, came back to the conversation that I'm not. Hello. And so like that's kind of really what I want to capture with this character is like I want him to like he still definitely has that more like Scooby-Doo charisma, that Disney character charisma, but he's a person who's very hurt by the world, and he still finds the optimism to do what he can to help others. He's also God. I should also, okay, that maybe okay. He is also like he is a like next in line, like God's successor is like the job that he's supposed to have. Whether he like accepts it or not, I'm still deciding on that based off of like how the story plays out. But again, like he is like me. He is like me in every single way. So it like depends on, you know, what is the, you know, what decision that I'm gonna make once I start to have a lot more influence. Like do I start to like play God or not? That's kind of like the questions that will be answered by like what is the type of story that I want to tell, and what is the type of story that I want him to have. God reversed. Yeah. God reversed is dog. God reversed is dog. All right, let's pull this back up. Now I think we can use this to our advantage. This drawing here. And then let's actually delete this one. And then now let's just like really try to get, like, no matter what this looks like, let's just try to get like a consistent line quality. I find that to be like a very helpful thing to do when I'm like really uncertain about what it is that, like, how I want something to look like. Just like, okay, just commit to it. Like, don't, okay, you have the sketch isn't perfect, but like whatever, just draw it as if it is. And then, you know, think about different mistakes later. Think about fixing different mistakes later, if you like come across any. So in this case, let's go with maybe like this brush right here. Yeah. And let's just go back to keep using this brush. I'm like nervous because again, like I'm not totally content with this drawing, but what other choice do I have? I just, you know, even though I'm not really too happy with how this is looking at like right now, like I want it to be elevated or whatever, but this is how you elevate things. And learning that has been one of the most difficult battles I've had to endure. Here, I think we do want to have some suggestion of a jawline. Here, okay. Like chances are this is gonna look a little bit weird. And that's fine. I'm seeing, looking at this as a reference, like, is there anything here that I can pull from to help complete the eyes, like the look of the eyes? I think there is. Like, I think I can borrow, I can sort of steal this thing, like whatever this part is. I don't know what that's doing, but it helps kind of close out the eye shape. So I'm going to do just that. Same thing with the chin here. Like having this line, I think creates like a fun overlap. Like that. I think I'll get rid of that one for now, actually. I really don't know how, like I really have struggled so much with with dealing with fear, like doing things even though I'm experiencing fear. It's something that it's taken me many months of like very specifically targeting that, and just to be able to kind of let go of imperfection. And some people seem to have it either built in, or you know, like maybe there's certain kinds of studying, there's maybe certain kinds of approaching work like this that makes you a lot more susceptible to fear. Because that's the thing I think that's really holding people back from becoming artists. It's fear. And I don't just mean like visual artists. I mean any kind of art. Why is there an apex here? What's happening here? Let me copy that and see what that looks like. I think I'm fine. And part of the reason why I have so much fear is because because, you know, I've built so many expectations of myself of what is it that I should be capable of at any certain moment. You know, because I study so much art, like I should be capable, because I'm so knowledgeable in art, I should be capable of producing great work, and I am. But great work doesn't come immediately. There's always like a like some, it's not a lossless conversion between like what you're thinking of and what is actually produced. You asked a French friend who plays video games, said oui. Oui. How do you say no in French? How do you say no? This arm definitely needs to be adjusted. Although, you know, really, like, okay, I have not really designed the body enough to be able to do this super well. Because I don't really know what the body is supposed to look like either. I gotta start making some choices in that. If I continue at this rate the way that I'm doing right now, I'm going to mess up on this. So let me start, not over, but the whole mission of this, the point of this is to get this head shape right. So let's look at this. Let's try to figure out like kind of like what's up with this. Why isn't this where I want this to be? I have a couple ideas. First, I am going to draw this just to get myself a better understanding of this. Oop. Okay. When I look at it from this angle right here, this jawline doesn't really connect in a way that feels believable to me. But the biggest problem is going to be the silhouette. If I look at this silhouette, there's like a really interesting like shape here. And of course we got like the edges of the hair going down here. If I want to try to mimic this, I really have to pay attention to these curves. What were the man's last words? Stop shaking the ladder, you clown. What were the man's last words? Stop shaking the ladder, you clown. What were the man's last words? Start shaking the ladder. Stop shaking the ladder, you clown. Is this an anti-joke? Is this just somebody... What? What's happening? He's on a ladder. Someone shakes it. Is that the joke? Is it an anti-joke? Thought it was funny. That was funny. It was funny. I don't disagree with you. It is, however, I would call that an anti-joke. Do you know what an anti-joke is? Nope. Okay, I'll let me show you what anti-joke is. So we got no music. Let's play sure, let's do Nier Automata ambience. Why not? Anti-humor, anti-comedy is an alternative type of humor based on surprise factor of absence of an expected joke or a punchline. So like, here's a here's an example of an anti-joke. What did one lawyer say to the other lawyer? I don't know. What did they say? We're both lawyers. It's like funny because it's an anti. There's no joke. It just somebody shakes the ladder and they die. That's like there's no joke, and that's what makes it funny. It's like it doesn't really follow the expected thing of a joke. What did the farmer say when he lost his tractor? I don't know. What did the farmer say when he lost his tractor? Where is my tractor? You know, like that's kind of I like anti jokes. They're fun. Like I guess dad jokes are it's like similar to a dad joke. So I am kind of embarrassing myself here with the I don't know, but just the way I'm drawing this is really not like conducive to this. Like I really should be a lot more confident with my lines. And really thinking about shapes. This is something I struggle with a lot is is like simplifying things into shapes. Like I can render pretty well, and it's like this like really simple stuff that really is like painful, which I think is normal. Like that feels like a very normal part of learning how to draw, especially like as an adult, because there are things that are learning how to draw as an adult. They're very different from drawing as a kid. Like when you draw as a kid, you tend to start with the cartoony fun stuff, and then you extrapolate from that. When you draw as an adult, you kind of have to work a little bit backwards to really to sort of like best make use of your adult brain, because our adult brains are a lot less plastic, and so we have to make up for it in other ways. Like an adult can learn how to draw faster than the kid can, but the approach is just a little bit more abstract, and it results in something like this where like I don't really know how to draw cartoony. It's like something that I struggle with quite a bit. I guess my live 2D model, if I were to look at it from this angle, would look something like this. What I don't know is if my live 2D model is going to... I don't know a couple things. One, I don't really know if it's going to have, like, am I going to see the paws, or are you going to see the front of the body? And if so, what angle is he like looking at? Like what's he doing? Is he like standing? Is he doing this? Again, like I haven't really figured out what his shape looks like. All I know is that he does look like a normal, like he got 4 legs. I know that. And I know he looks a little horse-like. Like he's not the size of a horse, he just like his proportions are a little bit horse-like. Which I suppose means I should draw more horses. But when I'm looking at it from like a live 2D model, then he should probably... What should he do? Okay, I really gotta decide this. Okay, what is it? Okay, what is it that I want? What angle do he's got to have a front facing angle. He's got to. How much of the body should we have? Do I want like a full body thing? If so, I should have a much better understanding of what his body looks like. I don't really have that. So I'm trying to like, again, if we're sort of going by the analogy that I was going through, like it's like I'm speaking, it's like I'm trying to write a paragraph in Chinese and I haven't really learned Chinese all that well yet. I think the thing that I really do need better references. So let's look up like a dog, live 2D dog. Let's see what other people are doing. And let's just like copy something. We got this one. That one's like kind of cute. What's this one?
Much like a normal nose, it should turn to the left when the face turns to the left, obviously.
This could work.
Those dearest to you, your
My dog!
even your faithful dog, will be
My
restored
dog.
to life. But their lives come at the cost.
I don't know if I give a
What is happening here? Whoa, this is crazy. Huh, okay, maybe we can like simplify this actually. I think I'm starting in hard mode. I don't need to do that. I actually don't need to do that. I can do something that is a lot more simple for now, just to get used to like understanding exactly what kind of drawing is needed from me for some like live 2D thing. This is a really good starting exercise. So this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna copy. I'll do sort of like my own take on this, but like I don't need something more complicated than this. So we got ears, we got the mouth, we got the nose, we got the muzzle. Yeah, this is perfect. Here, the eyes will actually make this like that. We're gonna do exactly what this model is doing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna do this. This first one, we can do a symmetrical layer. And then as for the ears, we'll just do that. Okay. All right. All right. We're good. We're good. I don't know why I was struggling so much with this. Like, this doesn't need to be anything more than this. This is fine. Okay. Let's turn the symmetry off. Now let's look at how much this head tilts. We could do like a whole 180 degrees, but I know that's like a bit more difficult to do as a live tuber model. So we're going to just extend this a little bit. Probably not all the way. All right. Oh, this is exciting. This is good. This is good. I think I'm starting to this is what I need to do. Yeah, clearly. Something like way more basic. So that's how it's going to look like when it's on that angle. So in terms of actually getting these models or these drawings, you know, actually colored in and all that, let's try doing that for now. Okay. So we've got the head, the side of the head. So something like that. So that might be its own layer. Then we've got the ear is going to be its own layers. Let's increase the size of this. Okay, all right. I'm excited now. I think I'm finally starting to understand what I need to do. And then we can just do the head. We don't even need to worry about anything else. Because look at this. Look at this head. There's nothing here. There's nothing here, and it's fine. It's fine. So let's add this head. There's going to be one side of this. Then we are going to, or what are we going to do? We are going to maybe add some shading to this. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Let's. I think that's good. I think that's good. So maybe like add a little bit more. Really make this as simple as possible. And then that's gonna be, so this one's gonna be left ear. No, it's gonna be ear R. It's gonna be ear L. Okay. All right. All right. Oh, how do I make this shape? I have no idea how to make this shape symmetrical. We're gonna do our best. I think we're gonna change the soundtrack. I love the Nier soundtrack, but I need more of a bop. I need more of a bop. Subway Surfer OST. There you go. Yeah, yeah, this is what I need. Yeah, there we go. All right. This is perfect. This is good. This is good. Dum, dum, dum. Dum, 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. Okay. That's this part. Yep. All right. That's pretty good. What's next? What comes after this? Maybe let's lock this. Oh. I'm locking. Yeah, I'm locking. Oh, I'm locked the wrong layer. Oh, no. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. We're making progress. We're making progress. Is this good enough? Is this good enough? I don't know. Let's look at our reference again. Okay. So we got lighter and then darker on the sides. Okay. Maybe that's what we gotta do. So maybe we gotta get this part up here. Maybe it gets darker on the sides. We're not gonna worry about having these be different layers. Not yet. Okay. We got this. Then we're gonna need some darker. We're gonna need some eyes. Okay. It's gonna be maybe like 2 black eyes. There's dots. There's pupils. Then no, that looks ridiculous. Okay. That looks awful. Okay, whatever. Okay. Let's not worry about that, I guess. Oh, he looks hideous. Then we gotta get the nose. That's the top of the muzzle right there. And then we need the bottom of the muzzle. It's gonna look like that. Okay. Then the sides of the muzzle are going to look like they're going to be over here. The nose can be down here. He looks hideous. He truly looks horrifying, but that's okay. That's okay. We can accept him. He's trying his best. He's absolutely trying his best. Okay. All right. What's next? Is that cute? I can't tell. Might be kind of cursed. This nose, we can increase the saturation of that a little bit. So this sort of represents more of like the front of the muzzle. So let's maybe try to add some shading down here. Like very soft shading here. Oh dear. Doesn't really feel like. Let's see. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a-okay. Oh dear. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Trust the process. Trust the process. Oh dear. Okay. All right. That's it. I'm not gonna work on this anymore. This is literally as good as it's gonna get. So maybe some eyebrows. Okay. All right. All right. Wait, we could add his mustache. We could do that. Okay. All right. Okay. That's it. That's what it's gonna look like. We're not gonna worry. It's gonna be that. And that's the quality of it. It's gonna look a little weird. That's okay. The subway surfer music is really, it's sending me. It's giving me a lot of hope. Okay, so I suppose what do we do next? Put this music back on? No, we're gonna keep our Subway Surfer music on. I've been playing it for 20 minutes. I hope. Oh dear. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna split this into two little, what's it called? Two layers. This one's gonna be right stash R. It's gonna be stash L. This one, we've got two eyebrows. Which could be brow R. Brow L. It looks so goofy. It's gonna be I R I L nose muzzle top. It's gonna be jaw. This is called base head. This is the goatee. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess let's work with this. Whatever it is we gotta do. No, we're gonna figure it out. Go to the background as well. Get rid of these layers. Get rid of this layer. Get rid of this layer. You can get rid of both of these layers. Get rid of this layer as well. Okay. All right. Here's our little guy. We're gonna get all these layers. We're gonna press V. We're going to align to canvas. Okay, let's not do that. Let's not turn into a freaking cyclops. There we go. That's better. Then we're gonna edit, trim this. And this is gonna be, these are, I mean, this is what we're working with. This is our Photoshop file. File save as. Now we're going to, what? We're gonna hit, I suppose, just like downloads for now. I'm gonna call this the VTuber test. Okay. I'm just gonna screenshot this. I'm gonna post this in the server. Where am I gonna put this? I guess I'll make a text channel. Twitch. Hmm. Sure. I'm gonna. Okay. I would like to have a thing in my Twitch channel. That's like a. I would like to have like some kind of something to just share, like some like things that maybe like Twitch moments. Twitch moments. Is that what we're gonna call it? I'm gonna call it like yeah, sure. What's a better word than moments? What is a like an alternative for sin? Scandal, disgrace, criminality, illegality, abuse. Pity, sinfulness, deficiency, failing, fault, shortcoming, weakness, virtue. Let's look up these words. Let's figure out what we're gonna call this. I'm gonna Twitch cankers, Twitch evil doings. Malefaction is a good word. Illegality, foible, misfeasance. Evil. I'm looking, definitely looking for words similar to evil. Like Twitch cancer. No. Twitch. Twitch nightmares. Twitch. Obscenities. Like OBS scenities. That's a funny pun. OBS scenities. Okay, I like that. I think that's funny. Welcome to hell. Okay, that's funny. That's cute. I don't know why that's funny to me. I enjoy that. I like that. Okay. I have a Twitch channel now. I have a channel called OBS Sinities. Does that make me beatific? It does. It does. Okay, so does that mean are we ready to watch this next part? Is that what's happening? I guess so. I have my PSD file.
Hello and welcome back to the Sapphire Star. We are on episode 3
Hello.
of 10 in our Live 2D Cubism full body VTuber tutorial series. Now that we have went over all you need to know before working in Live 2D Cubism and covered what you should check in your PSD file before moving on to Live 2D Cubism, we're finally ready to upload our model into Live 2D Cubism and begin organizing our files so that they are rig ready. First, let's download Live 2D together. Step number 1 will be to go to the Live 2D Cubism website and you can download the free trial that's valid for 42 days. Now, you can use this version, but once the 42 days is up, you may have limited features or limited access to exporting your model. Although, I do believe it is very possible to get done your very first VTuber model within 42 days. So we'll click this big orange button, and if you're interested in downloading the full version, I do actually have a coupon code that you can find in the description or in the pinned comments that you are free to use. Happy early birthday! Next, we'll scroll down and make sure we check the consent to the software license agreement, and you'll download the latest version. There's Mac and Windows. I'll be downloading Windows 4.2.03. No matter when you're watching this video, it should still be quite applicable to whatever version number you're using. After we click that button, it will begin downloading. You'll probably get a pop-up. You can click yes, and we're gonna put ours in English. Go to next, I agree, next, and install. Once it's done being installed, you can launch Live 2D Cubism editor, and we'll dive right in. This is what Live 2D Cubism will look like when you open it up. Your layout might be a little bit different than mine, so in order to move windows, you can click and drag them around. So I encourage you to pause the video now and organize them to look like mine so that you don't get confused throughout the series. So the first step is going to be to import our PSD file. Remember.
Okay, first step, import PSD file. Let's do it. Let's do it. Where is the Live 2D Cubism editor? Okay, this file. How do I import? Yeah, how do I do it? How do I do it? Edit, import. Hello?
Remember the one you made from last video? We're going to use that now. And we'll go up to File, Save As, and you'll save it somewhere you can easily access it. I'm going to save it to my desktop. And make sure it's saved as a .psd, as that is what is compatible with Live 2D Cubism.
That's what I did.
Back to Live 2D Cubism, you can go ahead and select File, New, Model, and I usually go.
Okay, File, New, Model. Okay, what do I do here? What do I do here? Help me.
Go up to File, Canvas Settings, and I will
File, Canvas Settings.
make the canvas settings the same that I had in my Photoshop file. So when you go to your file, you'll check what the canvas settings are. Mine is
Okay, my canvas is, what's my canvas? 1194 by 1439. Okay. Wait, that's not right. 1194 by 1439. Okay. All right.
is 6,164, so I'm just going to highlight that, Command C to copy it, navigate back in, Command Paste, and then we'll go back to Photoshop and back to Cubism and put in the same pixel dimensions. I'm going to use scroll wheel to zoom out, and next I'll navigate to where my model is. Go ahead and click and drag the Photoshop file onto the canvas. It may take a while to load, so go get a cup of.
You just drag it. Got it. Create new model from PSD file. Just yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's here. I see him. Oh, he's so freaky. He looks a little scary, huh? Just a little frightening. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to feel about that.
Cup of tea, maybe grab your favorite snack. My favorite snack.
Okay, what I also want to do is I want to Okay, no, we're good. We're good.
Is strawberry pockies, and oh, we got it. Dang, it looks like no strawberry pockies for me. Next, I will select the untitled model file that we open and click OK. Make sure to add all layers as a new art mesh. We'll need an art mesh to make sure that our model is moving appropriately. Click OK. And actually, this is probably the part where you want to get your pockies. Oh man, we're loading quickly today. Fantastic. Now that we have everything in and ready to go, we can start organizing our layers. Now before we do that, I know many people ask, what if I have additional clothes or items or accessories I want to add? Now I have some of those here, and as well as face expressions turned off in my Photoshop layers. I even have additional outfits. This is the other outfit that I have separated into its own parts, as well as a different hairstyle. It's fine to have all that on. I usually have it turned off. Then you can select a piece of your model, and it should drop down everything that you have. For the pieces that are turned off, you can turn them back on if they're hidden when you need to do so. Now if you want to add an accessory to your model, we'll go to File, Save save as, and you'll save on top of the same PSD that you used to originally drag in to Live 2D Cubism. So you'll save that, and then when you're ready to replace it, you'll go ahead and click and drag and do the same thing, and Live 2D Cubism will ask you where you want to put the PSD. Again, we're going to select our current model, and we'll select replace, and it should replace the new pieces and update the current file, and you shouldn't lose any of your progress that you've already worked on. So we'll go ahead and click OK. Next, before we do anything else, we'll want to save our model, so we go to File, Save As, and I created a folder called Live2D_Sapphire, and I made the file name Live2D_Sapphire V001. It's very important to have version numbers. V stands for version, as we will be making multiple version numbers, so you can go back to earlier models in case there's something that you liked that you lost from an earlier version. Go ahead and click Save, and we'll overwrite it. Now we are ready to organize our parts. So I'm going to delete any layers I don't need in here. These extra ones that I have are just like for personal use. I have this full version of Sapphire and one of our other outfits just for making graphics and such when I'm advertising on Twitter and things like that. So I'm just going to delete all the layers I don't need, and we'll want to start dropping down everything. So something I like to do is pulling up another model for reference. This is an earlier version of Sapphire that I modeled to see which part things are assigned to if you get confused. So what we're going to be doing is assigning parts to every single piece of the model. You can also go to the Live2D website, go to the downloads, and download the Live2D sample models if you need to reference them for any part throughout this video. We're going to download Hiyori so that we have her as a reference. We'll go to File, Open, and open Hiyori Pro EN so we have the English version to be able to reference if you're not quite sure where something goes. So we're going to have to unlock everything over here so that they can be selected, which in fact you can lock anything that you need to on your own model in case you want it to not be moving. Now we'll select the eye, we'll see what part it is assigned to. So first we'll focus on the eyelashes. The eyelashes are assigned to the part section. So we'll navigate back to our model and we'll select all the eyelashes. You can hold shift click while you select them all or do the
Okay. We select the eyelashes. Oh, I didn't do eyelashes. I only did brows. That's fine.
individually, although this will be much faster. And we're going to select part, scroll all the way down, and find eye. Now what will happen is it will be moved behind to a default drawing order of 500. So draw order is kind of like how layers.
So these, we're gonna select these. How do I select multiple? What? There you go. Part. How do I change it? What?
Work in a drawing program. The higher the number, the more moved behind. We'll focus on the eyelashes. The eyelashes are assigned to the part section. So we'll navigate back to our model and we'll select all the eyelashes. You can hold shift click while you select them all or do them individually, although this will be much faster. And we're going to select part, scroll all the way down, and find
Root part. Where are my parts? Name IR. Modeling. How do I add a part? What the heck?
eye. Now in case you want it to not be moving. Now we'll select the eye and we'll see what part it is assigned to. So first we'll focus on the eyelashes. The eyelashes are assigned to the part
This says,
section. So
okay,
we'll
here it's saying you select the eye, but I don't see a fucking eye. I don't see it. I don't see it here. I think this is lying to me.
eyelashes. You can hold
Okay, let's. Ugh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Why do you lie to me? What's wrong with you?
shift click while you select them all or do them individually, although this will be much faster. And we're going to select part, scroll all the way down, and find.
Yeah, I don't see this in my freaking part list. Root part? No. Okay, maybe I just have to add those parts. Art mesh. Edit form. Show. Part. Oh. How do I add parts? Okay, I guess we're not going to add parts today. That's what I'm learning. So it's something I'm realizing too. Beatific. Gotta remember that word. Something I'm realizing is I don't really enjoy streams where I'm like learning something. And I don't know, and I wish I did. Because or maybe I just haven't really gotten good at making learning seem fun. The act of teaching is really fun. But learning something, I feel like learning, I don't know, unless I'm able to get better at it or find ways to get better at it, maybe this is also a skill. Maybe just like how playing video games on stream is a skill. I think this is also a skill too.
Eye. Now what will happen is it will be moved behind to a default drawing order of 500. So draw order is kind of.
Okay, I gotta figure out how do I find the parts? Why is there things selected part? There's only a root part. Yeah. How do I get the part folders? Okay. So I'm not seeing these parts. Convert model ID. Another question I have is why am I getting static interference in my audio? But that's a question for another day. There we go. Let's change that to -52. So why would I put accessories in the front of the hair? I'm not seeing anything that tells me where I can add parts. Live 2D, how to add parts. In the parts palette, create new part. Part name. Let's call this ear. Part ID. No. How to get default parts. Uh, maybe this. Okay, I see something here called automatic mesh generator. Standard. Oh, interesting. Okay. I still don't know how do I add the I don't see the part. I don't see it. Whatever. It's fine. Part. Root part. Part mesh. So yeah, I guess the thing that I'm really noticing here is unless I really am a lot stricter about what it is that I'm doing, I think I prefer teaching more than learning. Learning on stream, I think, is pretty tough. It's pretty tough for me. Oh my god, hello, Son Roku. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Oh my god, I missed you. How's it going? It does reek a little bit of coffee. I agree. I tend to smell like coffee. I tend to smell like coffee. Uh I right now what I'm trying to figure out is I'm trying to figure out how to how to make a stupid freaking live 2D model. Uh don't have so much time today because I have to help move the RV to another park down in the Keys. Help move on. I'm trying to parse what you just said. You have to help move the RV. So you have an RV and you have to move it to another park down. And what does in the Keys mean? I'm not sure what in the Keys means. It's an extra stretch of Florida. Oh, you're Floridian. Oh my god. I have a friend from Florida. Wow. Do you normally drive? Is this like by the RV? Does that mean you own an RV?
Kind of like how layers work in a drawing.
Like is this like let me make sure I know, like I think I know what you mean by RV. I'm gonna look it up, but yeah, these things. RV, yeah, these things. Okay. All right. Is that yours?
drawing program. The higher the number, the more on top it will be, and the lower number, the
Life 2D part. I only see root part. Random parts have disappeared. Why do I only see the root parts? Editing parts. Set does and needs your help. I see. Is that scary to drive an RV? That I feel like that would terrify me. I'm also like I don't drive, so I'm still learning how to drive. I'm getting my license, so it's driving in general is like very scary to me.
more below and on bottom it will be. So we're going to change everything for the eyes to a max of 1000 in the draw order section here, and we'll have to do that for
So the eyes, I'll have to change to draw order of 1000.
for anything else when we change the draw
And the brows also change to a draw order of 1000.
order and move them around. Next, let's go to the right eye and do the same thing with the eyelashes. We're going to click the top, hold down shift, and select all the eyeliner, and we're going to switch this part to, we'll scroll down and select eye, and then we'll change the draw order to 1000. Next, let's hop back to our example model and select the eye, select the base eye to see what's under. That is also under eye, so we'll flip back, and we'll select the eye whites, and turn those to 1000, and select heart, and change this to eye as well. And we'll also change this draw order to 1000. We're going to do this.
And he said that the first day is going to be a relaxing day, so tomorrow in the morning would be moving it to the next park. 2-hour drive to retrieve the RV. That's crazy. Whoa. Are you excited about that?
Change to eye. And
Like, how do you feel? How do you feel? Like, is this like a burden, or is this something you're like excited about?
And check out where the iris is, and the iris and the eye highlights are actually all on eyeball.
Or is it maybe like a little bit of both?
Instead of eye. Go back to our main eyes, and we're going to select all of these and drop them into the eyeball section. And we'll also change the draw order to 1000. And we're going to do this with the rest of the eyepieces. I also actually want to change the eyelid to eye instead of eyeball. And we'll change the draw order, don't forget, to 1000. And it looks like it's still not on top, so I'm going to select back to my eye white and select this to be 990 so that it goes behind the eyeball. And we're going to select this eye white and also change that to 990 so that it doesn't happen with the other one as well. Whenever you see these little speed paint sections, I will pretty much be mirroring what I just did if it was the eye or the other ear or whatever the case may be. But if you need to slow down the video, you can do that so that you can see what I'm doing and follow along. And now I'm going to change the eyelash to actually 995, so we're kind of going to do an in-between. I'm going to pull the pupil back to 900 and we'll do 990 goes into the body.
Okay, the rest of this is just assigning parts. I see.
The white right, we're going to highlight this and then Command C to copy it. And we're going to go to all of our eyes that have to do with eye right and select those and paste in that clipping ID. And I have these right selected.
What does clipping ID do?
Next, we'll want to...
Oh, it's for setting clipping masks. Okay, I don't need to do that right now. Where our parents go, I have to go with them. I get that. I get that a lot, actually. Like, I understand that. I empathize with that. I kind of feel somewhat similar. I'm very much tied to my parents in some ways. So, although I've been able to get more freedom in just like recently, but I understand that.
To assign clipping ID. So as you can see, once we start moving around the eyes, we do not want that to happen. So we're going to clip the eyes. It's going to be our first part. We're going to open clipping ID and we're going to select the eye white right. We're going to highlight this and then Command C.
You know, like hopefully you can find like some, I don't know, like some like podcast or like something to make that drive a little bit more fun.
With eye right and select those and paste in that clipping ID. And I have these right selected. I also need these two. So and to give you the most control that you can have. So you can select your whole VTuber or character or click Control A to make sure that you're selecting everything. And here is an auto generator, and here's if you wanted to do a specific piece manually, but you'd want to select something individually if you're going to go in and do it manually. I like to start with the auto as it does a pretty good job with the start. You can deform.
Then we're going to auto mesh generate. Standard.
With a littler amount or a heavier amount. This depends on how far you want to customize your model and how you're taking it. You can try experimenting with both, but I'm going to go ahead and do little for this one. Once it selects it, it may take a few moments. You can click add. Once it adds it, you can see how there's a lot more dots now in here covering everything. Now let's talk about a few pieces that could be a little bit better or how you would edit the mesh to make it smoother. So for the eyebrows, we're going to go into the manual.
The only fun thing about it is a major sleep that I'm gonna get because I stayed up all night last night playing VRC. Oh my god, do you have like a dude? I want to start playing. I want to start playing VR chat. I really that's part of why I want to like start doing more like VTuber-ish stuff. Like I really want to like get this model going. I'm starting with a 2D model, but I want to get a 3D model up and going so I can start being a little dog in VR chat. That's why I would love to do that. I would love to be like interacting with other people. That would be very fun for me. Do you have like a character? Like, do you have like a do you just like play as any character, or do you play as a specific person in VR chat? Like, do you have like a model? Okay, how do I also? It's not now. I've deformed you. Can I like rotate you? Am I done? Animation. Playing as a lot of things. Yeah, that's cool. That's dope. That's dope. I really want to get into VR chat. I always get a little nervous when I'm on it, and part of it is because I want to be I want to be a little doggy. I want to be a little doggy in VR chat. I want to be able to do that. So I want to like have a just like a a space to be that. I think that'll be fun. Create animation from recorded motion. How do I? Just furries, robots, and Iron Man for some reason. I mean, it kind of fits with like like the Sona that you were like talking about, like the thing you were experimenting with. Like the iron, like the stone giant for Sona, like the idea of like having like a very like a mechanical, not mechanical body, but like a very hard surface body. So that kind of to me that like that fits, that tracks. Okay, clearly I don't know how to go about this. I'm very attached to this one cat avatar. Is it like a normal cat? Is it like a four-leg cat, or is it a two-leg? Is it on two legs or four legs? I'm very partial to four-leg creatures. I don't know why.
Mesh edit, and it's going to go ahead and isolate it. We have a bunch of tools down here that we can use. So to erase the dots, you can select this eraser tool and just click and drag. This little plus pen here is to add points. This is to take away points. For the eyebrow, you'll want to create a straight line with evenly spaced dots through the brow to get your best chance once we are editing it. Next, we want to go up, make sure you go well above the mesh, and start creating triangles. Triangles are a really great way to keep the mesh even and so that it will deform everything. You see the mesh? Something that you can do to fix that is click on it and then go back to the from your PC. Actually didn't even get red for some reason. Search to everything onto the canvas. Like I'm just gonna, this one we don't actually need there. Let's just like run.
Okay, I'm gonna skip a step for now. Two legs. First of all, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I'm just so into. I'm thinking like why I'm so into four-leg creatures. I think part of it is because I'm so interested in like how they have to how the the space changes, like the physical space changes when you are a four-leg creature. Like you have to work with, you just have very different tools and you have to sort of navigate in the same world as other people do, but you're on four legs. That conversation or that story is interesting to me because it's what real dogs, real dogs have to go through that. They have to like learn the rules of being a human. Real dogs have to learn uh where to where to urinate and where not to urinate. They have to learn so many like different like human specific, arbitrary human specific rules, and the them being on four legs instead of two and having to use their mouths, like it 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 helps tell that story, I think, in an interesting way. I think that's why I really enjoy that. But that's cool. That's really cool.
Go back to it, and now that we're
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wanna the hard part about being on four legs is you gotta figure out how to like your hands. Like, what do you do with your hands? Like you can't really. You could animate your four legs a little bit, but just it's a little bit tough.
we're on the right, we're gonna pull it, and now we can see that everything we need is moving correctly. So let's go ahead and click shift, hold shift to keep it down, and we'll move it to the right. We don't want to go too far because I don't think your eyes go maybe that far. This is what it again helps to have a mirror in front of you to see how far can you actually look to the right. Maybe like take a picture of it, and we'll just stop it there. And we're gonna do the same thing with very specific points. And to do that, we'll double eye. That's kind of a little extra feature to add. And now what we'll do is go all the way, fling all the way to the left, and we're gonna pull this down. The worm is coming down here. So this is a good picture that's outside of it. I accidentally made it a child.
Okay, so this is using a slightly different function for this. So I guess this will have to be, when's my next Live 2D day? Oh, it's gonna be next week. What? What? Well, I guess I'll keep this for now. Create warp deformer. No, I don't want to do that. How do I, like, once I have this, can I just start deforming this? Sometimes I have that covered with expressions, puppets, or props. Yeah, there's oh man, I really want to learn all that. There's so much that goes into like a VR chat avatar. And like I could pay someone to do it, but I kind of really want to like manually, like I want to do it myself. I don't know why that's so, like why I'm so interested in that. But I want to be able to just like do everything myself. To me it's like really fun.
Awesome, we are back at it. So the next piece for us is going to be to organize our warp deformers. Some people will do this as they go. I usually set everything up before I do anything, just because I know it's going to help me. And I did that in my last half-body VTuber series. This time, we're just going to approach it one by one, piece by piece. So we'll do a little bit of a mix of rigging and setting up the warp deformers, because I want to show you a little bit of a different way about doing it. Some people...
Yeah, it is challenging. But you know, I enjoy challenges.
Here to the other way where you set up...
I do. The thing that I'm figuring out right now is how do I make challenges feel fun in the scope of I'll put some of this music back on because I enjoy this. How do I make challenges seem fun in like in like the what's a good word to describe this? The aesthetic or the texture of being a streamer. That's something that I'm actually struggling a lot figuring out how to do, is like when I'm learning something hard, I have fun because I enjoy doing that, but it does also conflict with streaming in key ways. And like some of it is like a skill to learn. Maybe I just have to learn how to have this skill, or I just figure it out, or I do this as homework. Maybe it is incompatible with being a streamer, like this thing of like learning a hard skill, or maybe there's like other things I got to do. Maybe I got to, if I can prepare myself a little bit better, maybe there's like different homework I can do to help solve that, because I want to be able to inspire people to start doing things. And I don't really know the best way of doing that.
Or how like something like a skirt would go into the bigger picture, and remember you have to unlock these pieces to be able to mess with them. So I'm going to go ahead and check my old model again, super duper helpful. So the first warp deformer we're going to want to make is warp body Z. This is going to be kind of the overall giant arcing warp deformer. Warp deformers are up here, and then here's a rotator deformer, and here's a rotation deformer creation tool. We're going to be talking about these two right now. So first we're going to click on this button here, and we're going to name this body warp Z. This is going to be a parent. Now there's a main idea here that I really want to touch on, and that is parent warp deformers and children warp deformers. Parent means it's in charge of all the children. So if you have anything that is a child of a...
Okay, so this is a 37-minute video. We're not going to watch this all run out, but this is what is happening next time.
Teeth, drop our 2 points, hold shift to move the teeth up, go to the fang, drop our 2 points, hold shift.
So this is for rigging.
To the sapphire star. Here.
Then this, what's this?
I can select my constellations too.
This is, I guess, animating.
Is in there. The collarbone and another. So let's go back up to bottom. We'll create a new parameter called arm. Down.
Okay, so this seems complicated, but it actually doesn't seem like that complicated. Really, the drawing stage I think is the hardest.
So for the arm movement, you can do really whatever pose you might want. So if you wanted the hands on the hips, you can utilize this method. If you want to have the character waving, you would do.
And there is some. animation fundamentals being applied, like squash and stretch and stuff like that.
So here's an example now of like, oh, this is what the arms look like moving. If we wanted, we can also have those. We can always set those up to have like a little bit of a natural movement too, where it just kept doing it. So that's a cool thing too. So any pieces you can really move or any movement you can imagine, you will just set up with the parameters by following the list of rules I talked about, like making sure param has the name in the title with it, and that's how you'll make sure. That's how VTube Studio and other programs will understand how to read it. Now let's test what we've made into VTube Studio. So we're gonna export the model like we did in the last video. And here we are with the test now. We have rotating. Now I can see I'm gonna have to fix my collar.
Whoa.
So I'll just go back into Live 2D later and fix that. And we have the body moving again as well, which gives it that extra little movement. Now one of the big pieces we are missing, and we'll be getting to that few.
Whoa! Oh my God, that's only in like a couple videos away. That's only 2 videos away. Oh my goodness.
And welcome back to the Sapphire Star.
Depends what stage of streaming are you in. There's 3 stages: the beginning, midway, and end. That's a good point. There is like a sort of delineation of like what is happening in the stream, like the storytelling of a stream that I guess I haven't really put too much time into really considering. Because right now I just been streaming for kind of like what works for me, like what times work best for me, and just like, and I've been implementing goals, been following through those goals. That's been working for me. I have like fun little games, like I'm trying to like have a word of the day that I'm learning. So like today's word is beatific, so I'm trying to like learn that word. But then there's also the something I'm committing to a little bit less that I should be committing to more, is having like a really clear understanding of what the Act 1, what the Act 2, and what the Act 3 is. I might need to actually maybe like take a break tomorrow. I was going to stream tomorrow, but I think I might want to take a break and see like what truths I conjure, so that I have a much better like plan going forward. Also maybe like spending some time tomorrow actually like just like going on other people's streams. I think that'll actually be good for me. So that's gonna be my plan. So tomorrow I'm not gonna stream. Tomorrow I'm going to watch other people's streams. I might watch myself watch other people's streams, actually. I might do that. But tomorrow I'm going to be spending time in other people's streams. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a fun idea. Okay. All right. Okay. That's you just gave me an idea to work with. Something that I've been doing is I also been playing games on stream, and I'm using that as a signal to know if this is like the beginning, the middle, and end. I'm still kind of being like loose around when do I want, like, do I want to play games at the beginning or play games at the end? What really motivates me? What makes a stream more fun? And that I don't really know. I guess I do feel a little bit lost. I do feel a little bit lost in how exactly to elevate my streams from here. So this is where reference comes in. This is where looking at outside sources. This is where talking to other people really comes into play. Because the going from here to the next stage is, I think, extremely difficult. But I'll figure it out. There's one thing that I'm pretty good at doing, is I'm pretty good at figuring things out.
And welcome back to the Sapphire Star, episode 4 of 10. We're almost halfway there. One more episode and we will be there. Let's go over a little bit of recap. So last episode 3, we brought in our Photoshop file into Live 2D Cubism, assigned all of our parts, we added it in edited meshes.
So I think that I think I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm actually gonna call it the end of the stream right now. I'm gonna do some reflection. I'm gonna figure out like what parts of today's stream worked, which parts didn't work. And I'm gonna come back tomorrow, either tomorrow or maybe I'll like, yeah, I think my time is up as well. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me for now. I'm gonna come back. We'll see. I'm gonna figure out what the rest of the week is gonna look like. I'm gonna try to have fun in the meantime. So that's it. Bye.